evening to everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Different News podcast. Today, I have my gorgeous guest, Dr. Yulia Koslova, working as assistant of professor at People's Friendship University of Russia, named after Patros Lumumba. Thank you, Yulia, for accepting my invitation and coming on my podcast. It's a pleasure to have you today and talk about your journey, your career, and I think we have a lot of things to learn from you.
Thank you. Good day for everyone, and thank you for your invitation. For me, it's pleasure to be here. I like this kind of discussions, this kind of something that I can share with our listeners. Let's say. So I'm glad to be here.
And I'm very pleased to have you because I think by God's grace, I was lucky to be in Moscow for some time in Russia. It's a beautiful place, I must say, and that's really a beautiful country. My favorite question to start with is to tell about your journey because I think the career journey we traverse that itself has a lot of points of inspiration for many people who might be aspiring in this journey or probably others who might take some motivation or inspiration from your journey. So please tell us about
My
yourself.
journey is very interesting because until now I'm trying to combine to be as a doctor and to be a teacher, a lecturer. So it started some years ago when I was on the I think at the age of 12 I decided to be a doctor, but I didn't know which one. So I know that it should be something that I can work with hands, just not only speaking. So, and in this time I was thinking maybe I have to be a general surgeon.
Okay.
But then I started to search and I understand that you have to take a lot of night shifts to become a real good doctor. In this, and for me, it is important to have a family. And I said, oh no, I was like 12, 13. So I
Yeah.
was okay. I have to have a family, how to take night shifts. It's very hard. So, and I was starting to think, and in this time I decided to become a dentist because let's say it's a little bit easier. So, and I was thinking in this time, I don't know, like for us, long time ago, it was like um, you can take like 6 hours working day from morning till afternoon, early
Okay.
afternoon. Then you can take care about after the kids, etc., etc. So I was thinking that's the perfect deal. But nowadays it's different. You have
Okay.
to work 7 days to be able to stay alive, but that's other story in this time because my parents they are not doctors, so that's different. And time is changing. That's what I'm trying to teach my students, especially dentistry is very much moving with the development of technology. So that's why I'm telling them when they are tired on the second course, I'm telling them, listen, they're just beginning and you're already tired. You don't know how long you have to study more after that. So in this time, yeah, I was thinking because that's something very important to share, and that's I'm always telling my students when I'm coming to the class, it's something that I'm not just coming to spend my time. I'm here to give my knowledges, my energy as well. For me is very important the exchange of energy. Sometimes after some classes, I'm coming back home and I'm very inspired and I'm very happy, but like I feel energy even at the evening. But sometimes I'm coming and I don't have anything, and I'm telling some of my students that listen, that's the exchange of energy. Even if you are wrong, just answer, speak.
Yeah.
That's the important point. So, and in this time I was having back to my childhood, teenager ages. Since my childhood I had a very nice like family doctor, let's say. She's for kids. And when I was sick, so it was 90s, the previous century, she was coming and she was like very kind. very inspirable, always very like strong, saying right things. And for me, she was just the inspiration because she was the first doctor when I see from childhood. And I said, that's very nice job.
Mm-hmm.
That somehow moved me to the medical field. Yeah. And then I decided that for me to work with hands is very important. So then I moved to the thinking to the dental field. So then I just entered university and it was tough, very hard. And I always tell my students that I don't want to repeat it again because it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then my dreams, let's say, a little bit changed because time is changing.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays we have a lot of very great dentists in Russia and the field is very competitive. So to be fine, let's say you have to study and to work a lot. And overall, the quality, we're not speaking because the quality of dentistry all around the world, and I'm traveling a lot, is really great. So, because after 90s, everything changed. We access like to a lot of nice materials and etc etc, so the quality of the dental field and dental care really great. So, and another field, I like to be in dental field because, for example, my specialty is prosthetic dentistry, like crowns, veneers,
Okay.
etc.
Yeah.
But if you, let's say, bored,
Mm.
we have possibility in dental field to move to another specialty, like to be orthodontist, if you want
Of
to
course.
be
Yeah.
implant placement. You can take the specialty, so that's also great. But now I'm exciting very much with laser field, which is my
Mm-hmm.
another. And if we're speaking about the teaching stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so after I got a child and I was like, what should I do? And actually, I was thinking maybe that somehow in Russia, and especially for my family way, that's clear was that you have to enter academic field, maybe you
Okay.
have to PhD, okay,
Mm.
go to university, you have to teach. And my thing was that I'm teaching on English, foreigner students, and I really like it. So, and it was my research with a teaching part, and I did my defense.
Mm.
So, and that somehow stays with me because I really liked what I'm doing,
Mm.
because for me it's important to have impact. And okay,
Correct.
we are treating patients and we are taking care. That's another part. But it's, of course, we are like keeping teeth, etc., etc. But I wanted a little bit more inspired, and for me, especially for foreign students. So I think and I hope that I have influence to a different students to different countries. So, and that's my way, and I really like it what I'm doing. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's tough, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're happy, but that's life. That's
Yeah.
that's that's.
I completely agree to what you say. So, thank you for sharing your journey. And I think you have diversified in a great way, understanding how you can take dentistry, particularly, and of course, your specialties. But I think that you are a passionate teacher, and that reflects in whatever you said right now. So, in that context, Yulia, I want to ask you one question because, like, from our country, India, many students actually go to Russia for studying, particularly medical or dentistry and fields like that. Of course, for other things also, but there's a lot of students who actually move there. So, like as you said, you teach students, foreign students, maybe from different other countries. I'm not particularly about India, I'm talking about, but we see that. So would you like to give some points which might help in terms of understanding the culture there? Because I think when a student goes from, we belong from a different cultural background, and the first thing that happens, apart from any other thing, is the culture shock. So can you give us some tips, or to the students, might be, it will be helpful to them, that a little bit of some do's or don'ts when they first land up in Russia for their course or something, so that would be really useful.
Yeah, that's actually true, because I, from my side, I always trying to help because it's hard, but in the same time, I have to be strict, because that's my idea to be. But because from my side, I also studied abroad. It was Europe, but still, it's a little bit different, the things that you have to use to, especially the climate at
Mhm.
which here is different. And for it's exciting from one part, but another part you have to take care about your health.
Mhm.
So the first thing, I think, you have to find a company, I mean, people from your country as well, from your culture, because it helps you to stay alive somehow, to keep your traditions, for your some holidays, because you're not able to travel. But in
Right.
the same time, from my side, I always trying to help. I'm always trying to um, be respectable to tradition. For example, now is Ramadan time for my students as well. So that's something, because I traveled a lot and I see and I always respect. So, and you have to find some mentor, whom you can
Yes.
ask about advices. It should be a little bit older, you
Mm.
know, so that can help you, but stay together, which also helps. But actually, speaking from my university, that's very international one, and you will find the community, and it's nice to be able to exchange with different cultures as well, so yeah, you can find also the food, which is important to, that sometimes makes you happy, feeling home. Also, we have it. So actually, it's nice. So, but you have to find like a people who, maybe it's not a lot of people, but who is very close to you with cultural thing. But also sometimes, I'm speaking from my student experience, it also can be some people, maybe they are different nationality, different culture, but you have closed mindset, especially when you are studying medical field, you are spending a lot of time outside classes for self education, you have to sit, you have to study anatomy, etc. So when you are preparing together, maybe 2 3 people, so it's really help you, it really helps. So that's kind of way, but to be honest, that's hard because it's different culture, but it's nice. And then you are coming back home after finally you graduated, etc. You have a nice memories.
Yes.
So that's great experience, to be honest. But to find mentally close people,
Mhm.
that's important point,
Yeah.
that's for myself. But traditions you just have to accept and
Correct.
respect. That's the way, because we are all from different backgrounds. So, but we have to respect each other.
Yes, yes. Thank you for this wonderful, very insightful points. I think it's very useful for people who would be listening to this conversation. Like a little bit of question that comes, which I love to ask inspiring women like you. Uh, it's more regarding the work life balance, because as you had a mindset, you shared in the beginning that you wanted to a job or maybe some work, as well as you wanted to be a doctor, but you also wanted, you had the equal priority for a family and looking after people. I mean, that also was a primal priority for you. So how do you juggle this two kind of two three kinds or probably many kind of roles together? So that would be really interesting to know. How do you do the work life balance?
That's sometimes I'm also asking myself how I'm able to do, especially when I'm coming home.
Yeah,
So I'm like, what should I do first? I of course I have priorities, but university work as well as the clinical work takes a lot of outside time. Like you have to write articles, you have to do research. Sometimes it's international research. We have different time. I have to prepare my lecture. So that's something tricky, but you know, the first one, what I analyzed and I saw, and thank God I have a lot of inspired, very successful women who is like older than me, but they're like, and I'm looking to their families and their kids who is already maybe at universities, and I'm seeing that which example you are giving to your kids they are taking from you. We are an example. Sometimes when we are asking, and that's clear as well, then we want our kids not sitting in phones and reading, give the example, read a book as well. That's something. That's why, yes, I'm working a lot, but that inspires me. And my daughter, she's also looking around now. She's 7 years old, and thank God it's much more easier. Fortunately or unfortunately, the COVID
mm,
was with us in 2020. She was 3 years old, and I was alone with her, and I have to lecture, and it from home that's time. And it was very tricky and very funny because 3 years old, it's something, huh? So you
I know.
cannot interrupt your parents because we don't know how COVID is transmitted this time. So you don't know because you don't want to take a risk. You're
Exactly.
sitting home, and like you have to entertain your daughter. So because 3 years old, it's not 7 years old. And now like everyone is asking, how is everything? I said, that's okay. Now it's okay. First of all, we survived. Second, she's 7 and she's very almost adult, to be honest, and she can entertain herself. So because when you are lecturing, and let's say lecture, of course you can make a break, but 1.5 then 30 minutes, then 1 and 30 minutes. So that's tricky one. But overall, the first thing what I'm always telling to my students and to my daughter, because now she's like doing a lot of activities and she's like trying to find what will be her job in future. So it's like I'm like she's telling me, okay, she was doing skating on ice before. Then she's, no, I don't like it. Then now she's playing piano, but you have to take a lot of care, and she doesn't like to sit a lot. But she's like, no, it's not mine stuff. Now she wants to stitch and to do some craft stuff. She likes that very much. I don't know, who knows. But the thing is, first of all, you have to do what you really like.
Exactly.
If you don't like, that's not the point. Whatever, how many money or whatever, later or earlier you will not like it. Another thing, even in the hard moment, you have just to carry on. That's also, there is no choice. And I think that our kids, they're our teachers. From
Amazing.
some point of view, yes. And sometimes that you're not able to hold, just you have to do it because you love. And that's love, not for something, you just love. And you have to do, and I'm looking around a lot, and I see families who has two kids, they just got the second one, and they're saying, oh, the first one was so calm and fine, and the second one very much annoying. So it's not the same, but it's something you don't know. I do believe, and it's not just words,
Mm,
that every decision that you are taking in life has to be your decision, and you have to understand that you really want it, you know so that's, and have to be responsible. That means that I like what I do. Sometimes I'm taking Christina to my work. That's also was in my life. So she's seen that that's work. That's not easy sometimes. Sometimes she's asking me why you're very tired after, for example, lecturing day. And she's saying, okay, don't be super like super strict. Put for them good marks, etc., etc. I said, yeah, that's fine, but they're doctors
Yeah.
and you don't know where you will live in future, and I have to take care. That's all this stuff that they will be a doctors, and that's very something very important. So, and we don't know, each of us who is teaching, each of us who is treating, so where our kids will be, and we have to be very strict and responsible in a good way. So what we are giving and what we are sharing with the people. So my advice from my age where I am, so still I hope a lot to go, that just like what you do. And sometimes I know people can just close the door, forget about the work, and just take care of the family. That's something I have to learn, to be honest, because sometimes I'm thinking about my patient maybe at night. That's not good, I know, but that's how like this. That's my insight, and I cannot do anything. And also about the students, because I do a lot of extra scientific work from out of the classes. We do some research, thesis, articles, publishing. Yeah. And maybe some teachers, they are able just to close their notebook and until the next Tuesday, let's say. I was a student, and I studied in Germany, for my 5th year, and I did master degree there.
Okay.
Especially for foreigners, sometimes for them it's all life, especially when you are inspired. And I just cannot close the notebook
Mm, mm,
because I was in their place and I was searching for help. So, and I'm putting myself on their place, and I'm trying to help whatever I can. That's my point of view. I think that all of us, we are doing something here on earth. Like we have our aim. We don't know what is it, but that's my aim. That helps me to be like this. I don't know. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's right, but that's my way. So just I have to live, and I'm putting priority. Of course, if my child has some contest or whatever, I'm putting that today. But next time I'm working, and she knows what I like what I'm doing, and that's just my life. That's somehow like this.
amazing. I think I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure that the way Christina, is growing up, seeing you as a mother, I think she already has been building the qualities that she needs for herself to stand out in the world and put herself out in the world and achieve whatever she wants to. And secondly, you are a very kind person, I must say that you're a very kind human being. The way your ideologies and the perspectives that you are sharing, I think if the whole world would be like this, then there will be only peace prevailing, I guess. So, Yulia, it's a very interesting conversation that's going on now between us. When we come as professionals, on a platform, we always stick to subjects like the things that we are doing. But I think it's more important to talk about these things that we are bringing up today. Uh, and particularly another thing which I would like to ask you, like as a teacher, because I understand that you are a very passionate teacher. So how do you make your classes interesting? Because whether it is dentistry or any other subject for that matter, certain areas we have which are kind of boring. So what are your ways of making things interesting for your students?
yeah, the most important thing that I'm always telling the students that I'm practitioner. Yes, I have my clinical cases, etc., etc. Because for students, especially when they're just starting, that's the academic stuff, as you said. Sometimes, yeah, really, we all were students as well. We are find it boring, but I'm telling them. First of all, you have to read the letters to be able to read, and we can proceed. If now during the class we're finishing the all stuff which is necessary, which required, so I will share, and I'm always sharing, even in additional time, we have some classes for clinical cases, how you can implement what we are studying, because sometimes the theory, especially in medicine, is far away from the practice. So, and sometimes practice is not the theory, and theory is not the same as practice. But
Absolutely.
I'm trying to share my experience from the clinical cases, what I have, like what I had in this week, what I'm gonna have. So that's I'm trying to entertain. But another thing that I am in the field of, like, let's say, innovative field of dentistry nowadays. That's the laser field, and we are not a huge amount of professionals in these fields all around the world. I'm traveling and I'm lecturing, and it's active, when you are some key opinion leader in some field and still you are at university teaching. So for that, you have some image, let's say. For the students, it's very important, and they're patient to be around you, to take some international life experience. Once again, it's a lot of things changing, especially in medicine and dentistry, and we have to be updated, because yes, we have academic program which is must have to be, has to be. So, and there is some innovative stuff which I can share as well additionally. So that's why they like it. They are coming, they are asking special things around this. And I don't know, you have to be in the same rope. I don't know, in the same, when you are sharing, when they are asking for help, sometimes they are asking me for some advices in the, which is not related to even to the field of, or related somehow. So I'm trying to implement practice, that is very important for the doctors who are studying to see and to share. So, yeah, we are trying to work with hands as much as possible. So that's actually, I think, works. And I'm keeping the update, the last news from the dental field. You know, the important thing, sometimes they're like maybe shy to speak, etc. I'm telling them
Yeah,
speak and explain, because I'm also teaching from you, because we have a lot of new technologies around us. I'm okay, I'm still young, but they can teach me as well, especially in the 21st century. And that's the exchange somehow. Why not? So I'm in this kind, I'm very open. And if I need help also, so from some, up stuff or whatever, so I like to do it. So that's how it works. I think that's built somehow on personal
yeah.
involvement in the process, Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
Mm.
I'm sure your students are very lucky to have you as a teacher, because I think in my life, with God's grace, my mentors, some of my mentors were fantastic, because, as a student, when we are students, we actually, apart from parents at home, we spend more time in school or colleges or wherever we are studying. So the interest in a subject actually depends on how exactly what your teacher was, who was your teacher. Because I mean, that curiosity you said, right, that you
Yeah.
up them with new things, because that's something not there in their books, or even probably they might not be, they don't need it for writing exams and passing the exam. But those curiosities that you are inbuilding in them with these updations, I think that's amazing. You were
Yeah, it's the same like in primary school. Who was your first teacher? How he has involved you in the studying process? My daughter, she's just went to the first class, and it's also for the all the parents who will be the teacher, how it will go, because or she will like to continue to study, or she would like not to do this. That's not 100% from the teacher percent. We know this, but still it's influence. It's a puzzle which has to go through, and we are as a teachers, we are in the field, in the specialty, which is upgrade level. So that somehow I'm even remember from my student university life. It was a great teacher on the second year, and it was just that we were learning phantom protocol, how to place the restoration direct one. And I remember first my experience, working experience, when I started to work like for internship, etc. It was exactly from the second year. And I'm telling my students, listen, open your mind, because this is your bread, because this is what will give you money. If you are thinking that will happen after 5 years and you graduate and you are already doctor, no, that here, and time flies very quick. So please take it in mind. And I'm motivating, that's my part. And they're coming to the class, they're tired, whatever, and after the class we studied, we speak, I see some inspiration in their eyes. And for me, that's what I like. And some of the students who graduated, and they're coming to me and they're saying thank you. For me, that's something very important. Maybe I changed some lives. So that's my idea. That's all.
Absolutely. I think for a teacher, the success of a student is the actual success, and that makes us more proud when somebody comes and tells you that thank you is a very big thing. And I think no money in the world can buy that thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
yeah. So that's wonderful. Okay, Yulia, so we are talking today about many things that actually is present in different formats in everybody's of our life, and irrespective of where we belong, which country we belong, or what race we are, or whatever it is. So another important thing which I would like to ask you, and if you don't mind sharing, is about how our personal relationships affects our professional life. So do you think, as a fantastic person, do you think, like, if there is a problem in a personal relationship, whether it is you know whether it's a parent child, or even if in marriage, particularly as a woman, I'm asking, it's a woman to woman question. So do you think that it really affects the professional life, or how would you advise somebody to get rid of things and preserve that professional life? Because I think, personally, I think just like you, that is our identity, that is most important thing. And people remember us for what we do. So I'd really
True.
like to have your perspective. Yeah.
The luck or unluck in professional life, in private life, can influence different ways.
Mhm.
Sometimes when you are unlucky, you're just going very much deep in your professional life and you can be successful. Another thing, that depends from different ages in our professional life as well. From
Right.
my personal way, I was passing through different periods of my private life, but at the end of the story, it's still important very much, but you are becoming an adult, especially
Mm.
when you have kid, you have to take care, and you don't have a day to be like not in a good mood and not wake up from the bed, because you're responsible for someone. So but overall, especially in dentistry, um I wasn't so sure before I didn't pass my way. So, but it's very nice when you have your partner uh, who is the same field. Before I was totally different, because From my second year at university, I was working as assistant, and that's what I'm telling to my students. It shouldn't
Mm.
influence for your study, but you have to be as much as possible in clinic and to stay beside because you have to work with hands. That's the important point. So, and I was sitting in there, like in the at the kitchen and like in the room where you can have a lunch at work, and around for a lot of dentists, and I was like listening to what they're speaking, and they were speaking about dentistry only. And I'm like, okay, people, there are a lot of nice things. You can go for the cultural things. Moscow is very famous with the staff theaters, etc. They're speaking about dentistry. And I was like, what is this? But later on, when I become a doctor and I had different cases, which is not easy, and I want to share with someone, even at night, that's tricky. That's somehow tricky. And if you have your own business as a dental clinic, also, especially for the woman when your kid is sick, unfortunately, there is someone who has take over, because as I said, dental field is very competitive. So you cannot be sick. You cannot be out from your business, especially. I don't like to speak when medicine is business, but fortunately or unfortunately, at the end of the story, especially if it's your own, so you have to
Of
take
course.
it because you're responsible for some stuff. So that's the point, which is very nice to be in field.
Mm.
And that's also somehow, I wouldn't say at the beginning like this, but what I'm seeing more successful who parents are also in dental field. They can share some experience. It
Mm.
depends. Also, it's not 100%.
Yeah.
So, but from my way of be wise woman and practical part to be in the same field. Okay, maybe not dentistry, but medicine
Mm.
is better. That's
Okay.
why I'm also telling to my students, look around. And if we're speaking about the relations
Mm.
as a friends, as a colleagues, it's also, I will stay regarding when you are studying abroad or regarding when you are in the field.
Mm.
It's very nice to have society of people with whom you can be honest and you can share
Right.
your likely or your unlikely things, even maybe it's professional one, because from my side, I faced it a lot.
Mm.
So it's important to have support. You have to find that if it's not your husband or wife, so in this case, maybe they're in a different field. I don't know. Like, they don't understand you. They will support, but still you have to share some cases. So that's somehow like this. But from my side,
Mm.
um, there is not fashion, but something like this when parents are staying on the child and telling, okay, you have to continue, you have to be a doctor, and child doesn't like. From my side, I would like that my daughter will continue, but if she doesn't like, I will not stay because
Mm.
I'm still saying that you have to like what you do. So
Exactly.
that's another thing. That's in life. As I'm like today, we have dental material science class for the children, for the students. Sometimes I call them children. So and they're like, they're like, okay, I'm saying, you see, that's porcelain or that's metal. There are advantages and disadvantages. It cannot be perfect
Yeah.
because life, nothing is perfect, and we are all like this. Like you have to find, like we're speaking what we have to decide to go for which material, what are the points, but that's in life as well. You have to find the balance, and it's very hard, but still it's possible. So you have to be happy. But
Mm.
in the 21st century in Russia, women, they're independent.
Mm.
They can earn by themselves. They can raise kids by themselves, sometimes alone.
Yeah.
I'm not finding that's great, to be honest.
I know.
I'm raised up in traditional way and in East culture somehow as well. even I'm like not looking like this, but inside myself, that's important. The classical way is very important to have family who is supporting you. To give an example for kids, but it should be calm and in harmony. If there is something also triggering, it will also influence you bad in your work. Especially we are working with a human being. We are
Yes.
working human to human, and you have to be calm and your mind should be free at work because we are doing anesthesia, we are doing some treatment. Of course, we are not cardiosurgeons, but still we are in like intervening with the human body. So that's also important to be calm at work, and that a family gives you background, but you can be fine, you know. So that's not easy, but family is important. That's
Mm,
my
yes, yes. I think it's a like when we have that support, it's like it acts like a backbone. When you have a family support, it's
yeah.
definitely. I won't say that it everything becomes easier, but of course, when you are doing something alone, you have a lot of other challenges to be met. I mean, but with the support of the family, things probably gets mitigated. It becomes little more life becomes little more easier than it would be versus you are doing
From
something
one point.
someone of course. Yeah. So Yulia, thank you so much for being on my show today, and it was fantastic talking to a dentist, not about dentistry. That's the best part. That's the best thing I liked about today. And just before you go away, any message or any notes that for people you would like to share?
Yeah, I'm always telling to when I'm lecturing and when I'm to doctors, when I'm lecturing to um, students, when I'm speaking to my patients, I would like to say that you have to be honest to yourself. That's one point. And each day you have to to bring something nice to yourself and to the people around. That's my point. Even in some very great days, which happens to each of you, I'm laying down by like at home in bed and I'm thinking like, what did I do? So be honest and just go straight.
Thank you so much, Yulia. It was wonderful talking to you, and I hope one day we meet in person.
Yeah, I hope to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here.